Not many would think the time to release a Halloween-themed film would be July, but Disney wasn't afraid of being off-season with this one. They had something special, a cult classic film, about the three sister witches known as the Sandersons. In 1693, Salem, Massachusetts, the Sandersons have been kidnapping children to suck the life out of them in an attempt to be forever youthful. The film begins Halloween morning when a young man named Thackeray Binks awakens to find his little sister Emily is missing. Thackeray runs out of the cottage to see in the distance Emily running in a field being led by Sarah Sanderson towards the woods. Thackeray tells his friend to get help while he pursues Emily and the witch into the woods. Thackeray eventually follows his way into the Sandersons' house. Inside, we are introduced to the sisters. Sarah Sanderson is the youngest and best looking sister of them, but she lacks a lot in the mental facilities. She is also very playful with dismembered animal parts. Mary Sanderson is the middle witch who seems to have a heightened sense of smell and often barks at people and cats. And finally, the villain of the story, the leader, the bucktooth, Winifred Sanderson. Winifred is one of the best parts of the film, mostly because of her frustration in dealing with her sisters who don't listen and just do things wrong. When the three sisters discover that Thackeray has infiltrated their house, Winnie uses her magic to subdue him, and they finish draining Emily. Afterwards, they decide to turn Thackeray into an immortal black cat doomed to live forever with the knowledge he wasn't able to save his sister. The sisters are found guilty of murder and witchcraft, which leads them to being hung, but not before Winifred and her evil spellbook with the most factual name, Book. The book shows Winifred on Halloween night, a virgin will light the black flame candle and the sisters will be back with hell to pay. The film picks up 300 years later in modern times of 1993, when a young man named Maximilian Dennison and his little sister Danny have been forced to move from sunny Los Angeles to the quiet town of Salem. Max is not happy with the move and doesn't care much about the town's rich history and passion for witchcraft. Max meets the hot girl next door, Allison, and tries to give his number to her while being cool as in front of the classroom. Allison rejects him in a much cooler fashion. Upset about this, Max decides to ride his bike through a cemetery. I think he was trying to make a shortcut, where he meets the town's Jay and Silent Bob Light, whose names in the film are actually Jay and Ice, who threaten Max if he doesn't give them anything, so they take his shoes. Jay and Ice are a little different from your typical high school losers in those stories, for the two of them reappear periodically throughout the film, interacting with other characters serving as a B-story. Max returns home barefoot, pissed off about the events of his day, when his sister Danny jump scares him while he was trying to cuddle with a pillow daydreaming it's Allison. After Danny is done ridiculing him, she demands he takes her trick-or-treating, which Max refuses and Danny screams at Mom. Max is taking Danny trick-or-treating. Here's where the true brilliance of the film begins to shine. Max upsets Danny after another run-in with the village junkies, and they have a moment about how things won't be the same because this is their life now. Instead of staying mad at each other, they muscle through it with brother and sister bonding and find a big house on the block. This of course is Allison's house, where she is so bored with her parents' lame costume party that the three of them decide to sneak into the old Sanderson house, which is now a museum. Inside the museum, they find the black flame candle and read the prophecy that Winifred told the townsfolk about their inevitable resurrection. Max, still thinking this is all Hocus Pocus,
come on, it's just a bunch of Hocus Pocus,
lights the black flame candle and the house fills with a rush of energy before showing us the Sanderson sisters are back. After, Max tricks the Sanderson sisters that the sprinkler system is actually acid rain of death. Max is knocked down by Thackeray Binks, the black cat, who tells Max to retrieve the spellbook. Max, Allison, Danny, and with the help of Binks, they will spend their Halloween night fighting against the Sanderson sisters, as both groups run around town causing casual terror fun. Winnie awakens one of her old boyfriends as a zombie, Billy. The sisters are tricked by children wearing costumes before meeting a man who's dressed as lame Satan, but they actually think he's real. Max and the kids drag us to the town hall Halloween party with a rockabilly band dressed as skeletons that gives us the beloved only musical scene in the film, and the kids take the Sanderson sisters to school to teach them French. This film can be a bit scary at times with its props and set pieces, or the fact that Binks gets to play the part of roadkill that happens way too fast and quickly. How could you do this to us? Children are watching, and there's a few scenes where Billy loses his digits or his head. I know he's a zombie, but he does react to these things with pain. The movie also has a beautiful dash of comedy sprinkled throughout, from ridiculous lines from the most thoughtless characters that become infectious upon more viewings.
This is ice.
to the overbeaten joke that's actually a key thing to the plot. Max is a virgin. Max being a virgin plotline in the film is something fans talk about, and if it was today's Disney, they would never be okay with the concept or use of the word. The reason I believe being a virgin is part of the story is originally the script was written in the late 80s and was intended for young adult audiences. The script was said to be scarier and darker in its themes, but over time, much was written out. Eventually, Disney picked up the script and produced the film under their Buena Vista banner, the banner Disney would release films under to distance itself from. So Disney released Hocus Pocus originally under Buena Vista, and years after it became popular because they played it on the Disney Channel, this is when I first saw it, that's when it became known as a Disney film. It isn't the only non-Disney original film later to be rebranded as a Disney classic. 4 out of 5 stars. Hocus Pocus was given the cult classic status for a reason. It's an incredibly fun ride to take with the kids and their talking black cat as they try to defeat the evil, child-eating witches over the course of the 1993 Halloween night. It's a film that brings a lot of warmth to me as I rewatch it yearly near Halloween. The cinematography is well done in the fact that you never feel like a shot is obstructed. In fact, all these shots were framed well and lit well. This is because it was shot more like a stage play or a musical. Another interesting thing is that this is one of those movies that uses early CGI. The acting for the most part is good, with much of the weight being pulled by the older actresses, being the most seasoned after all and named stars compared to the children. Omari Katz, who played Max Dennison, at the age of 18 claimed he smoked a lot of marijuana while filming, and Danny's actress Thora Britch, whose career had just begun, has gone on to become an award-winning actress. Then there's Binks, who is sometimes a cat and sometimes a puppet, and what kind of weird-ass name is Thackeray? Thackeray, not Zachary. Thack, with a TH. Not like Zach with a Z. Growing up with this film, for most of my life, there was a good amount of it where I really thought the people of Massachusetts say the name Zachary weird. Thackeray Binks is voiced by the famous and well-accomplished voice actor Jason Marsden, who's also known for voicing Max Goof and Kovu.